I was really looking for something where I could really trust the people. And I met Wendy and Randy. It didn't take me long to see that I could trust here and I was going to be okay. And they were more interested in me making money than they were in them making money. And that was important to me.
And after I had been using the Jeunesse serum for a month, I started receiving compliments from so many people about how much better I looked, how much younger I was looking. So I got another bottle of it, and sure enough, more compliments were coming almost on a daily basis.
It's so true that you're in business for yourself, but you're not in business by yourself, and that really is comforting to me because I have been in other businesses, but I feel so comfortable here, and I appreciate all the help that I have gotten up to this point.
I heard about a new product called Propectin. What most people didn't know was that I was battling a diabetic ulcer when I was in Florida. And I got to talk with a gentleman, and he told me that when he got on that product, he believed that it had saved his life and that it might save mine too. And what I didn't realize at the time how true that was going to be.
And the day that I finally got hooked up and I clicked the submit button on the computer, it instantaneously started going ka-chink, ka-chink, and there was on the screen $35 checks going by on the screen for me.
Welcome to this special presentation where Jeunesse Global independent consultants will tell us how and why they got started in the business. They'll share a little about how they became successful and how Jeunesse Global has impacted their lives. First, I'd like to introduce Stephanie Nichols. Stephanie?
Thank you very much. I appreciate the intro. And I've been involved in this type of business, this type of industry for about 18, 19 years. And a couple of years ago, we went looking for a home, someplace that we could, really sink our teeth in. We were looking for our last rodeo. We were looking for something that we could call home for a lifetime. And we got on a plane, we flew to Florida, met with Randy and Wendy, the owners, and, it starts at the top with the integrity and their leadership and guidance, and their heart are as big as the state of Texas. And I got a chance to really see who they were as people, and fell in love with them, and all the corporate staff fell in love with the products. We had cutting-edge patented products you can't get anyplace else. That was important to us. And also the comp thing was really important to us. And, if you do something, you want to get paid very, very well. And I'm not talking about just a little bit of money. We wanted to make a lot of money. And we've been able to do that over the last couple of years. And so it's been a successful venture. It's been a whole lot of fun. If you're not laughing, you're not living. And Randy's a true testament. One of the CEO of the company, he's always got a smile, always laughing. That was really important to us as well. And, the people at the top, they've got such big hearts, and they help, all of us succeed, and it starts from the top down. So we've been very, very blessed to find a home and be here for a very long time. They really take care of their people. And if you're looking for something where you can be appreciated and loved and adored, you found the right place. Jeunesse is just that, and you will certainly be appreciated here from the top down. We've got a great team. We're all here from Randy and Wendy on down to help everybody succeed, to get where they want to go, to make your dreams come true. And with that, I'd like to introduce the next speaker. She's an absolute superstar, and she's actually become one of my very best friends in the whole world. And she is the hottest great-grandmother you will ever meet, thanks to these great products. She's gorgeous, and she's got a heart as big as Texas as well. So help me welcome my good friend, Miss Darlene Stark.
Thank you, Stephanie. I just so appreciate that intro. But I want to just tell you a couple of little things. I've been successful in some businesses, but I've also fallen on my face in a couple. So I was really looking for something where that other shoe wouldn't drop, and there weren't any I got shoes, and that I could really trust the people. And I had some trust issues when I came in, but it didn't take me long once I flew to Orlando and I met Wendy and Randy to see that I could trust here, and I was going to be okay. And they were more interested in me making money than they were in them making money. And that was important to me. And I was intrigued with the product, the stem cell serum. And so when I went on March 28th of 2011, and I started using that serum, I came back and I began to see an immediate difference. And before long, I had people tell me I was glowing. And as a great-grandmother, you love to hear those compliments. I've been able to get to the level of sapphire, and we're fast approaching ruby, and we're really excited about that. We're moving forward. We've got a great, amazing, awesome team, and when Stephanie says about my heart, I can tell you everybody on our team's heart is that way. We just all love each other. We really encourage each other, and we teach people how to succeed, but also how to have fun too. A little something about my upline, Steph, is when I was with another company and I was like, maybe a box a month girl and not really a hitter in that company at all. Every time I walked into the warehouse, Stephanie treated me like I was their number one producer. And she still does that to this very day. And I think that's really important. She not only does that with me, she does it with everyone. And it's extremely important to have an upline that values you and treats you well. And because I've been in several companies that just wasn't the way it was. Another thing that really impressed me here is that we have a seamless compensation plan, seamless international. We can sell the recruiting. We're in the world in over 80 countries, and it's all a very seamless operation thanks to the masterminds that put up the computer programs that track all that. The other thing I wanted to say too is not only has our group had a solid growth, but our company's had a solid growth. And I just feel real blessed to be here with a company that each new product they bring out is unique and it works. So I feel real blessed, and I would like to turn it back over to Nick, who will introduce our next speaker. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Darlene. Our next guest is Lisa McCall, and we would like Lisa to tell us how and why she got started with Jeunesse Global. So take it away, Lisa.
Okay, thank you so much. And I'm so excited to be here and share what I have learned so far. I've been in this business about a month and a half, thanks to Darlene. She is just precious to me. She has just, really made me feel special. And when I first met her a month and a half ago, and, the neat thing, too, about this business, and I know that it sounds cliche, but it's so true that, that you're in business for yourself, but you're not in business by yourself. And that really is comforting to me, because I have been in other businesses as well, but I feel so comfortable here, and I appreciate all the help that I have gotten up to this point, thanks to Darlene, because she's been a trooper to just be there for me every time I have a question or anything. And actually, I was looking for something to kind of supplement my retirement that's coming up in a few years, and I had considered other things, but those avenues just weren't up to what I thought they were, and it wasn't, until I met Darlene that I knew my prayers had been answered, because, like I say, she's just wonderful. The people that I have introduced her to as well, she's just made them feel like family, and I've just grown so much just in this month and a half, and I just want to share it with everybody. The products are fabulous. I haven't had the opportunity to meet Randy and Wendy yet, but I know I'm going to, and because they are so genuine, and they're just so caring for all their people that they have in this business, and I just am glad that I'm going to be able to be a part of that, and I'm just ready to just quit my job and do this full time, because I think about it every waking moment. I just love it.
Wow, that's exciting. So what would you say to someone who's considering joining Jeunesse Global?
Well, first of all, I would invite them to come to our meeting, and, because we are very honored to have the leaders, to share this opportunity with our potential clients and distributors. And I just know that when they leave the meeting, they will have gained, a great deal of knowledge about Jeunesse. And I just really feel like, without a doubt, they would want to be a part of this remarkable company, because I know I am.
Great, Lisa. Thank you so much. Okay, our next guest is Lynn Flaherty. Lynn, tell us how you got started in Jeunesse, and what is your experience so far, and how has it impacted your life?
Okay. Well, I will tell you this. I probably am more shocked and surprised than any of my family, any of my friends that I have switched companies, because previously I had been with a major cosmetic company in their management position for 25 years. And I truly believe that I would be a part and with that company for all my life. And little did I know that God had a different plan, a better plan. And about a year ago or so, I started to question some things about my previous position and really the results that were coming and what I was receiving. And I just had some questions and some doubts, and it was really leaving me in a place that I was just really uncomfortable, and I just didn't have any peace. And I really didn't know what was going to unfold, but I just trusted, and I knew that there would be something that God had for me. And just a few months ago, I was introduced to the Jeunesse serum, and just out of sheer trust and respect for two really special people in my life that were my mentors, spiritual mentors, I tried the product, and I had never put anything else on my face but this other product that I had represented for several years. And so I have to say, to be honest, I was really reluctant to try it, and I really didn't want to like the product, because I knew that if I would, that there was going to be a conflict, and I really didn't know what I was going to do if I was really going to start to see the results. Well, in about 2 weeks after I'd been using the product, all of a sudden I could feel a firmness in my skin, and just the texture and the tone of my skin started to improve. And I hadn't told anybody but my family that I was using this or trying it. And after I had been using it for a month, I started receiving compliments from so many people about how much better I looked, how much younger I was looking, and I still didn't mention that I was using and trying something else. But the funny thing was, even after I had used it for a month, I knew that I couldn't go a month without using, another supply of it. So I got another bottle of it, and sure enough, more compliments were coming almost on a daily basis. And I had gotten to the point where my own customers were asking me what I was using and what I was doing in addition to the current product that I was using. So then, and they were also asking me, how can I get this? So, the wheels started turning, and I thought, what in the world am I going to do? And so there was much discussion, much prayer that went into this. And I knew that I was led, and about 2.5 months ago, I resigned from that position and just started with this awesome company. And I just am so thankful and so blessed that I have been invited to become a part of this. And it's the people, the hope that I am not only giving myself and my family for future, not only for monetarily, but just for relationships. The rewards are just absolutely tremendous. And I have been able to see such an increased productivity with other people, as well as just their joy, and just knowing that there is a future here with this really rock solid foundational company, that I am just so grateful to Darlene and Steve and Stephanie and Joyce and Kevin, that they all have just reached out to me. Everybody just embraces you and just helps you and encourages you in ways that I have never, ever experienced before in my life. And I just am so thankful and so grateful that I'm a part of this.
Well, thanks, Lynn. I mean, that's very inspirational, the fact that you moved from one situation to Jeunesse Global, and it seems like even after just a couple of months, it's exceeded your expectations. That's very, very positive result that you've received so far. So thanks for sharing that with us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Our next guest is Kay Wright. Kay, please tell us how you came to join Jeunesse Global, and tell us about your experience so far and how it's impacted your life, and maybe what you'd say to someone who's considering joining Jeunesse Global.
Thank you. My story starts back with Darlene's story. I'd known Darlene for 6 or 7 years. I'd known she had been a coach before. I knew she had interest in skincare. And I was in a wonderful situation of living in Fort Worth. I had just sold my house. I was 6 days from the movers coming to pack me up and move me to Austin, Texas, where I get to be a grandmother. And I have a daytime business that's involved with computers and spreadsheets and all those kinds of things all day long. So Darlene called me and said, would you ride with me up to Plano to go to a meeting tonight? And I said, sure. I was leaving town. I wasn't going to see her for a while. So I went along for the ride to Steph and Steve's home up in Plano. Little did I know how impressed I would be. Little did I know how I listened to Steve. I'm a numbers person. I listened to the comp plan. I listened to how long the company had really been starting in the United States. I listened to the information about the very unique product. And I thought, I didn't have any other company outside Second Income going at that time. I'd quit doing all the kinds of things with that I had done before. And I thought, this sounds like fun. We're having a good time. You get together, you learn some information, and you've got this fabulous product. And I thought, I'm going to do this. It would be a way for me to help me to meet more people when I'm in Austin. So I signed up. And 6 days later, they packed up my house and I left town. And I actually had to stay with someone for a month. So I was back up in Fort Worth a day or two. And I invited a friend of mine to look at this. Her husband had recently retired. And I think they were kind of looking for something a little different. And so I invited them to go to Florida and learn about the company. And at that point, they got in, and then their excitement then brought more people for their team, and they started growing, and they started growing. And Darlene, of course, was above me. She was putting people in. And so I went down and I started my regular day job down here talking to people and networking. And I didn't get around to getting my second person until July. This is not the way we suggest you do it, but I just want you to know that all the money that was accumulating for me all that time was waiting. And the day that I finally got my second person and everything was hooked up and I clicked the submit button on the computer, it instantaneously started going ka-chink, ka-chink, and there was on the screen $35 checks going by on the screen for me. And by the time it finished up that day, I had a check that was coming to me in 3 weeks that was just under $1,000. I went, this is good. So I've included and have a great team of people that I've been working with during this period of time. A lot of my friends in Fort Worth have joined, and other people in other cities and other states. And so it's been very, very helpful for me. I have gotten a check every single week since that week. I've never missed a week that I had a check. And so it's definitely had an impact on me. And I would like to say this, the key things I think are from my background. I'm a person who likes to know the answers. And so for my team and the people that I'm working with, when they come up with, well, what did this mean or what did that mean? I'm the go-to person to answer their questions. And I do it across, anyone who calls and wants to find out something. If I've already done it and know what the answer is, I help them out. And then the other thing I think is important is that from the very beginning, because when I joined in April and May, there was a conference in June, a very beginning conference that they had as a mini conference before we started the first big one. And I've been to every single convention that Jeunesse has had in the United States. And I think that's also critical because you get the education, you meet other people, you see and find out how they're working their business, and it's just such a wonderful family. Thank you.
Excellent. Great story. Thank you so much. Our next guest is Ken Godey, and I understand that Ken has kind of a different story to tell, but one that is pretty incredible. So, Ken, take it away. Tell us your story and your experience and how Jeunesse Global has impacted your life.
Great. I'm excited to be on the call. I own a salon and day spa out in the Dallas, Texas area, and unlike other people, I wasn't really looking for anything. I have a successful salon and day spa, but I was introduced to Jeunesse when I ran into a friend of mine, Donna Reese, and to my amazement, she looked 20 years younger. And I had to know how she did that, and she told me about a product she was using called Luminous Serum and asked me if she could have her friend Darlene Stark tell me more about it. And of course I said yes, because I really wanted some, because I wanted some for myself and my clients. And Darlene introduced me to Stephanie Nichols and Steve Green, and, well, the rest is kind of history. I actually got interested in Jeunesse because of their anti-aging products, and I've had incredible results with myself and my clients with it. But what I really wanted to tell you about was that the Jeunesse nutritional products, I'm a type 2 diabetic, and I watched a video about the nutritional products, and I really thought that I needed to try them. And I started taking a product called Reserve and AM/PM, and in a short time I was feeling great, and it was making a difference in the neuropathy I had in my legs and feet. And then I heard about a new product that they were coming out with called Propectin. And to find out about that product, I flew to Florida where they were having a convention, and I was really impressed with a panel of advisors and doctors that were talking about the product. And I got to talk with a gentleman by the name of Yank Berry, and he was a type 2 diabetic, and he told me that when he got on that product, he believed that it had saved his life and that it might save mine too. And what I didn't realize at the time how true that was going to be. What most people didn't know was that I was battling a diabetic ulcer when I was in Florida. When I got back, I started on that product, and the first thing I did was I did a test called an A1C test, which shows 2 to 3 months average of where your blood sugar is. And the results were 13. Now, the top of the scale is 12, so 13 isn't all that good. A great number would be 6 or below. About a month later, my foot took a turn for the worse, and I ended up in the emergency room, and my body was so septic that they gave me less than 24 hours to live. If I survived the night, they were sure that they were going to amputate my foot and maybe even a portion of my leg, and depending on how my circulation was. And, you know, one of the first tests they did on me there was an A1C test, and it was 11, and that's pretty amazing because with all the infection I had going on in my body and being on antibiotics, that number should have gone up and not down. That first month I was on the loading dose of that product, and when they did an ultrasound in my leg after I survived the night, they did an ultrasound in my leg, and they were kind of confused because I had the circulation in my legs of a healthy 30-year-old, and I'm 56 years old. So they were pretty amazed at that, and the surgeon was able to save my leg because of that, and I was able to keep most of my foot. I did have a portion amputated. You know, I continued using that product daily after all that incident, and about a month later, when I went into the diabetic clinic, they did another A1C test, and it was 7.8, and you know, that was an amazing result. And just a month ago, I did another A1C test, and it was 5.7. And my doctor said, like, well, I know what kind of medication you're on, and how the heck are you doing that? Because you can't get numbers like that doing what I told you to do. So that was a kind of an indication that things were working pretty well. I've been a diabetic for 20 years, and my sugar levels have never been in control, even using prescription medications. You know, I truly believe that God gave me a miracle when I was introduced to Jeunesse. The people that I've worked with are incredible. I've been in other companies before, and never was I treated as good as I've been in this company. I mean, they treat the little guy just as incredible as somebody who's making them millions of dollars. So I can't say enough about the company, and their products obviously are incredible.
Wow, Ken, what a story. That's just amazing. Really amazing. Thanks, everyone, for sharing your experiences today. I admire all of you for taking action toward a healthier, more rewarding future through Jeunesse Global. Darlene, what's the next step for that person who's listening to this presentation or watching it who's ready to get started? What is the next step? What do they need to do?
Well, they need to get back with the person that referred them to the call and get more information if they need it, or get their questions answered. And that's what you do.
Okay, well, thanks everyone for listening. I invite you to take the next step to a happier, healthier, more rewarding future by getting with the person who invited you to this call, or when this call is recorded, it's going to be on the internet, who told you about the website, and check it out a little further and maybe try the products and do some research. And I think you'll find, as I have, that the people at this company are for real, and you really owe it to yourself to take that next step and just find out what it's all about and get involved, because this is something that's really special. So thanks everyone for joining us, and have a great one.